go.
Okay, we got you.
So I can close my phone down.
Yep, let's close the phone down. Okay, you got it?
Okay. I got it. There we go.
May the interrogation begin. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and... Well, I know that many of you may consider coming to one of our in-person workshops or becoming a one-on-one business coaching client, but before you decide to take action and to invest the time in doing a free 13-point assessment with me or investing the time to come to one of our in-person workshops, I thought you should hear directly from one of our longtime clients who's had a lot of success so he can share with you about his experience. So without any further ado, Charles Ulrich, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
So, Charles, I got to ask you, how did you originally hear about the business coaching services that I provide, sir?
I was listening to podcasts on iHeartRadio on my 3.5-hour commute back and forth to my business in another state.
And so people can prove that your business is real. What's the name of your company, or what's the website people can go to learn more about it?
CannonPumps.com.
CannonPumps.com.
Cannon.
And what kind of services and products do you provide?
We provide a specialized slick line concrete pumping service along the Wasatch Front and Southeast Idaho, and have for a lot of years.
And so when you reached out to us, were you looking to grow the business, or what had you initially decided to reach out about the attending a conference or the in-person or the one-on-one business coaching?
I had just hit a brick wall. I had lost key people. It was back down to just me after years, and I did not know what to do with my business and was struggling to put the skill set together and the desire to grow it and do anything else with it. And so I was just looking for some answers.
And from the time that you reached out and scheduled that 13-point assessment to now, how much have you grown, sir?
At least 200%, probably.
Wow. So you're saying your company has doubled in size?
Yes, at least.
At least, you think maybe more than doubled, or?
Yes.
Now, when we do a weekly call with you, we like to cover the core, repeatable, actionable processes. The reason why Dr. Robert Zellner and I have a lot of success in business is that we're both rigorous and very disciplined about following proven systems. And so a big key component, I would say the key component of what we do, is we have a weekly call that's designed to provide you with practical operational help for your business. How do those weekly calls help you steer the ship?
They make me focus on my business, and they help me to remember the fundamentals. We're always being asked, what about this fundamental? What about this fundamental? How is this problem being resolved? How is this problem being resolved? And over time, you look forward to the meeting because it forces you to resolve any issues you have and work through them with proven solutions.
Yep, because it forces you to push through those problems and achieve success. I love it. Now, I got to ask you this: how do the weekly calls? How have they helped you with your sales process?
Well, a lot. We run our business for 25 years on our original Dream 100, and we didn't have much more than that, so we were very limited. And so one of the first things we did was, of course, Google and the reviews. And now our schedule is full of non-regular customers. I don't have a set of 6 customers dictating my whole business. I have a set of 150 customers dictating my business.
Now, again, if you were to take those calls out of your life and not have those weekly meetings, what do you think would happen to the level of success that you've achieved? Because, behind the scenes, we're optimizing the website, we're running your ads, we're making sure we're tracking all the numbers. What would happen if you took the calls out, you think?
Man, it would just be a slow implosion. Not really even that slow. It would just be, there's just so much ground covered in that you can't, it would be hard to For me as a business owner and involved in the business, it would be hard for me to replace that, even with people, time, money. The resources would be just hard to grasp, let alone implement it and be able to do a working system to have somebody do any of it.
Now, Dr. Robert Zellner and I in our companies, what we like to do is we like to keep our meetings as short as possible, meaning we want to cover what we need to cover, and then we want to get back to business, probably in the way that you like to pump concrete as quickly as possible and then move on to something else. And I think a lot of people maybe don't quite understand that idea. Again, we block out an hour every week for that meeting, but it doesn't need to take an hour. Can you maybe explain why it's important to have that meeting, regardless of whether it takes an hour or 20 minutes or whatever the time length is?
It helps you keep us focused on the core fundamentals of what we're doing. If we don't have that, pretty soon we're going sideways and we're worried about things that don't matter as much. You've identified the things that we need to focus on, and that meeting, no matter how long it is, helps bring us back and forces us to look at those numbers, our revenue numbers, our reviews numbers, our leads numbers. Are we converting? All of that stuff, it forces us to look at the information that nobody wants to look at on their own.
Now, within our coaching program, we only work with 160 clients. And so, sometimes you might work, if you're a listener out there, you might work with me. I work with 15 clients. You might work with Carter. You might work with Devin. You might work with Andrew. You might have worked with Marshall. You might have worked with Eric. You might have worked with, there's so many wonderful people that we've had a chance to mentor over the years. And inevitably the question gets asked, well, how could your coach possibly help me if he's not a concrete expert? I want to ask you, how have the coaching calls helped you with your interviewing process and to know what to look for in a job applicant, even though your particular coach, Andrew, is not a concrete quote unquote expert?
Just because you're an expert in concrete doesn't mean you're a business owner. So Andrew brings a vast knowledge of all these other clients, and so can answer a lot of questions about what we need to do employee wise that I would really have no other answer to. And from that, even though he's not a concrete guy, he knows more about business than probably 98% of all of my clients who are concrete guys.
Now, how have the coaching calls helped you with the hiring process in terms of learning how to run and launch your Indeed ads? Because I see a lot of business owners that struggle to recruit people. How has the coaching calls and the coaching program helped you to effectively learn how to launch and run Indeed ads or the entire hiring process, really?
One of the biggest things about getting going is just the fear of starting. Once you start, if you have little questions or things, you have a resource to go to answer those unknowns. So instead of being afraid of them, you can just say, okay, I'm going to do this. And they just help you with the little details over top of it.
Now, how have the coaching calls helped you with managing your staff? I know, we manage internally, we manage hundreds of employees, but then our clients themselves, I mean, some clients I work with manage hundreds of employees, and some clients I work with manage 15 employees. Some manage dozens of employees. How have the weekly coaching calls helped you to learn how to effectively manage your team?
The coaching calls help ground you in the business principles, take a lot of the emotion out of it. Most situations with employees is cut and dry and wrong or right. As employers, we get emotionally involved and are afraid to do that. But when you hear somebody like Andrew as my coach tell me, no, this is what needs to happen, it's like, okay, this is what needs to happen, because he has seen it how many ever times with all his other clients.
Now, working with Andrew, we want to help you create systems. Our coaching program, we want to help you make systems so that everything is documented, and over time making checklists and processes for everything. So that way, as your business scales, hypothetically, it's more systemized over time. How has working with our team helped you to build systems?
Well, one of the things that we learned is remove yourself from the business and see how well it functions without you. So it seems like every time I break my leg, my business goes without me and it seems to function pretty well. So it helps everybody in the business be able to know what to do when nobody's looking over their shoulder.
Now, a part of the coaching process is it's that core repetitive, core repeatable, actionable processes. I call it the crap, but it's the messy middle. It's after the big new idea, the excitement about the new idea is gone. Somebody still has to follow up and do the core repeatable, actionable processes. How has that helped you on a weekly basis stay on track? Those core repeatable, actionable processes, after the excitement of the new ideas are gone.
Well, through the meetings helps me to realize that I am accountable to somebody. I answer to somebody. And so I go to my team and I hold them accountable so that I can make sure all of these things are done. So it just helps me to stay on top of making sure people are doing what they're doing instead of having to go in and take care of everything myself.
Okay, next question I have here for you. The coaching calls, a lot of our listeners, a lot of our longtime clients, if people go to thrivetimeshow.com, they can see thousands of customer success stories. A lot of my clients will tell me that they learned a lot about time management in the coaching program. I have one client right now. I've helped him to grow his business dramatically. He's on the verge of selling the company, and he says, "Hey, I'm going to keep hiring you as I look for my new business because I need someone to help me maximize my time and to stay efficient, even as I move into my new venture, even after he sells his company." Can you talk about time management and how the coaching calls have helped you with time management?
Well, this is one of my great struggles is the time management. And so I try and work on it more and more. And so by being able to have access to my coach, it helps me to formulate a plan and be able to keep my meetings and time management focused on what I need to do and not what other people want me to do.
How has the coaching calls helped you with your search engine optimization and generating more leads? I meet a lot of wonderful people that tell me, Clay, I would hire you guys for the coaching service if it didn't have the search engine optimization and the web development and the graphic design and the photography and all those services. But specifically, it's a flat rate. We charge $1,700 a month. It's all included. How much has that helped you in terms of growing your business with our in-house search engine optimization, web marketing, online ad management team?
100%. People find us now. When I met you, I didn't even have a website. And the first thing you said was, we have to do Google. I just sighed. It was so distant to me. And now I can't even imagine running this without what your team does for us in the back room.
Now, what's kind of interesting about our relationship, it's been fun, is I co-founded Tip Top Canine Franchising. It's a dog training franchise. One of my longtime clients, Ryan and Rachel, started the company tiptopcanine.com, and I helped them to scale the business so that way it could franchise. So other people who are not Ryan and Rachel could go out there and buy a proven business model that works. And you guys elected to open up a Tip Top Canine right there in Utah. Your family, you and your whole family opened up a Tip Top Canine franchise together. How big of a role did you, having previously worked with our coaching program, how big of an impact, I guess, or how much of a decision, how much did that weigh into your decision to buy a Tip Top, knowing that we would be implementing the same systems that we've been implementing in your own company?
It was probably the biggest factor because it helped us to understand from the beginning. We're implementing all of the business principles in our concrete pumping. So when we were exposed to Tip Top, we already understand a lot of the policies and practices, which makes it easy to go in. So we could hit the ground running at full speed because everybody on our team already knew what the Dream 100 was, what the Google was, why reviews are important, why search engine optimization, all of that. And it was a huge part of why we decided to do that, because we want to use that as a platform to even get more tip tops. And we feel that through your systems with that tip top would provide us that opportunity.
You know, my father, he had Lou Gehrig's disease. May he rest in peace. And before he passed away, though, my wife and I, we organized kind of a going away party for him so that all the people in his life that mattered to him could all come and say nice things about him while he was still alive. And my dad told me that was like the highlight for him, was hearing that. And I know a guy like Andrew, you know, he's a very diligent guy. He stays focused every day on growing your business. Every single morning we meet at 6 a.m. in our coaches meeting to go over any burning fires or any issues or any areas how we can help. If we ever have a business owner that's stuck, whether it be the Tip Top Canine franchises that we coach or whether it be our non-Tip Top Canine franchises or businesses that we work with. And I know he's committed to helping you grow your business. What would you say about the impact that Andrew himself has made as a result of him teaching you the systems and holding you guys accountable on a weekly basis?
Oh, Andrew's been great. You know, there's a big age disparity between Andrew and I, but he's never been afraid to, if there's something, he finds out if we don't know. But the other thing, he's been a great example to my kids, that all my kids work in my business by their choice, that you don't have to be an old stodgy guy like me to understand business principles. They're the same. And so his influence on me and my organization is generational, literally.
So just to be clear, I mean, knowing that the business systems that we had in place, working with you with your Cannon Pumps business, those principles, you knowing that those principles and systems would be used at Tip Top Canine, that was a big motivating factor for you.
Yes, huge. Probably the biggest factor.
And what would you, again, I talk to people all the time, and I'm not bashing other franchises, but I talk to people all the time that come to our conferences, and you've been to our conferences, and people will come to me and they go, man, I bought a franchise of this company or that company where there's no weekly coaching. You know, you come, they train you on how to do the skill or how to buy the business, and then they go back to their local hometown and they feel like they're just floundering, and they have like a monthly call where somebody checks in with you, but there's no weekly accountability. What do you think would happen to your Tip Top location if there wasn't Andrew or somebody like that pushing you guys on a weekly basis to grow?
It would go sideways quick. We'd be doing the wrong things at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. And because it would be more emotion based. And our phone call with Andrew, it keeps focused on the things that we need to accomplish to make it a franchise, so that I'm not a business owner that wakes up every day and has to go in and deal with it.
Final question I have here for you. For anybody out there that's thinking about attending one of our in-person workshops or scheduling a 13-point assessment, I don't want to waste anybody's time because I only take on 160 clients, and I don't want to waste anybody's time because our conferences only can accommodate 100 folks at each one, and we want to make it very interactive. In your mind, what kind of person would benefit from our one-on-one coaching or the in-person workshops?
Somebody that has a business that wants to get to the next level, not sure what to do. Just for ideas alone, your workshop has so many things that you can implement into every level of the business and at least get your brain working towards being a business owner instead of the high paid employee you are.
Well, brother, I really do appreciate you hopping on the show here. Hopefully, we've benefited you greatly, and it's been awesome to get to know you over the years. And I wish you continued success. Thank you for carving out time for us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay,
bye.
See ya.
All right, Thrive Nation, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He's not a hologram. I've known him, I believe, for almost a decade. Brett Denton, welcome onto the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Yeah, man. I think it feels like forever with you, Clay, because you go like a million miles an hour. So it's more like a century. But yeah, it's been a little over a decade now. I'm doing great.
Yeah. It's awesome. And how I first started working with you, I believe, is working with your company called Cavell Fit. Can you tell everybody out there, what is Cavell Fit, and what kind of work did we do to help you grow that business?
Yeah, so I actually had heard about you on the John Lee Dumas podcast, and we were in the process of looking for a coach. At the time, I had a partner, and we were looking to expand and grow our fitness company. So it's a brick and mortar fitness company. We do boutique personal training, boutique group training, and we were looking to implement systems. We're really trying to take it, one step further, start expanding, start growing. We're at one facility at the time, and so we were just looking for somebody with a little bit more knowledge on how to help us do that, how to build the systems to be able to scale.
Now, every client that I work with, what I try to do is help break down this complicated thing called success and turn it into core, repeatable, actionable processes, things that I affectionately call CRAP, core, repeatable, actionable processes. So to grow Cavell, if we can go back to that for a second, to grow Cavell, I mean, it's a gym. Can you tell everybody out there, what are the services that Cavell Fit did provide and currently does provide?
Yeah, so when we had come on with you, I think the only thing that we were providing was group fitness training and maybe a little bit of nutrition. At this current juncture, we provide personal training, we provide group fitness training, we provide nutrition and challenges. And we actually had grown, this is pre-COVID, we had grown using your tutelage to 2 facilities and a third one in the works. And so, again, relying on the systems and processes and kind of the boring things. At this point, I tell people it's all the boring things that you taught us that really make the difference in our scalability.
Now, I have a visual diagram I'm going to pull up, and I use the same system with every business I'm involved in. And so it's kind of a way to take out of my brain the system and make it where everyone can see it. And I don't hide the system. I teach it to people. Box number 1, we have to figure out your revenue goals. And I know working with you with Cavell, if we go back over a decade, you had revenue goals in your mind. Box 2, we have to know how many customers we need to break even. Why is it so important for the listeners out there to know how many customers they need to break even?
Well, just from my experience, if you don't know how many customers you need to break even, you don't know how much to charge, you don't know how to watch your expenses, you don't really have a good hold on your business. It's kind of like flying a plane without looking at any of the, without looking at the panel, like you don't know your elevation, you don't know where you are in sky, you don't know where the ground is. And so if you don't really know that break even, then how are you going to know, if you're making money or not?
Now, box 3, you and I have never really had to talk about this box too much, but some entrepreneurs want to have massive success without putting in massive amount of work. We've never had to figure out how many hours per week you're willing to work. You're a guy that was a walk-on football player that ended up earning a spot on the roster there in Division I football. You started a business from nothing. But a lot of people do need a little pushing on that. Now, box number 4 is determining your unique value proposition. And I would argue that at Cavell Fit, you weren't the first guy to develop the idea of a group fitness class, but we had to find a way to help Cavell stand out in the cluttered marketplace. Can you talk about the importance of having a coach work with you to figure out how you could stand out in the cluttered in the cluttered marketplace?
Yeah, I think having a coach in general helps you see the forest for the trees or the trees for the forest, depending on what issue you're having. And this is a big issue in the fitness space. In the fitness space, like many spaces, it's very competitive. There's a new fitness franchise popping up, it seems like every other month. And so if you don't really understand what your value is and why you're unique in the marketplace, it's really hard to compete and just be another gym or another personal trainer or another whatever your widget is. And so I think, again, having a coach be able to see outside of what you can see because you're in your business on a day-to-day basis and try to pull that out of, what you currently offer or offer something new, I think is invaluable.
Now, improving your branding, whether it's dog training or now you're selling logs too. You're selling logs. No matter what business you're involved in, the branding has to be great. Brett, you recently purchased a new business. Could you tell us about your new company, sir?
Yeah, so purchase Sawtooth Wood Products. We sell logs. We do fencing. We're a contractor. We sell power equipment. Well, again, it gets into a little bit of the commodity business. I would argue fitness is a commodity at this point too. And so you really got to, number one, define your niche. So what's your value proposition? Then number two is your branding better than your competition. And this is something that we continue to work on every single week, every single month, because everything continues to evolve. And so we continue to want to look better. And with our new business, a little bit with Cavell Fitness too, but with our new business, we really cater to the high-end clientele. So the ultra wealthy affluent. And so if our brand doesn't look on par with what they're used to, we're going to lose business. And so we got to make sure that branding looks the part.
Now, are you going to go, or did you decide to go with a website for Sawtooth Wood Products, or do you decide to market primarily via fax machine?
Yeah, fax machine. Yeah. We're flying the airplanes in the sky around the city is actually what we're doing. No, we got to have a website, and okay. The website is ultra important. Not only the look and the feel of it, but also, are we ranking, and again, this is something that we actually had no clue about before we started with Clay. And since we started with Clay, we've the search engine optimization, SEO, which I'd never heard the term before, the importance of the Google map and how to optimize that. How else do we get people to our website? Because a website is great and it can look as pretty as you want it to look. But at the end of the day, if nobody's coming to the website, it's not doing you good anyway. So we needed to look the part and we need to drive people there.
Now, we work with you with three brands right now. We work with Cavell Fit, we work with Tip Top Canine, you're a franchisee, and we work with sawtoothwoodproducts.com. Can you share with the listeners out there, we're going to go to this next box here. Why is it important that as you're marketing that you actually ask people, or that your team asks people over the phone how they heard about you? Why is that so important that it's Sawtooth or Tip Top or that, Cavell? Why is it important that you don't just rely on what people check on the form and that you actually ask people how they heard about you?
Well, the way that I've understood marketing to work is people have to see you multiple times. So they might see, let's take Tip Top, for example. So, the Tip Top cars are wrapped, they're bright, they're yellow. So they might see the car and then they might see one of our Google ads. And then their friend might say, hey, I use Tip Top. And then all of a sudden they see on Facebook, and then finally they click the link. And the one thing that they remember is maybe the Facebook. And so we want to ask them, because then we can have that conversation with them. And then instead of it just being one answer, we can say, oh, there's actually 4 things. We need to make sure that we keep those 4 things going, keep continuing to spend marketing dollars on those things instead of just getting rid of all the rest. So, let's say everybody started coming in through Facebook. Now, we probably need to pay attention to that. But at the end of the day, if you're not having those conversations, you might start to realize, oh, they're actually searching us on Google, and then everybody's going to our Facebook page, and that's just how they come into us, and that's the last thing they remember.
Now, this next box here is, again, we have sales conversion, sales scripts, recorded calls, one sheets. You have to have that. If you're listening today, folks, you got to have sales scripts, recorded calls, one sheets. Now, the next box is you have to determine how much it costs you to get a customer. And I don't care whether it's Cavell Fit or Tip Top, you have to ask the question, how much money am I spending on advertising, and how many leads am I getting? And then so if you're spending $350 a week on ads and you're getting 10 leads, then you're spending $35 per lead. Why is it important that on a weekly basis that you hop on a coaching call, whether it be for Tip Top Canine or Sawtooth, and you take that moment to look at your numbers and go, how much am I spending per lead?
Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, if you don't really have a coach to do that, there's very few people coming from the fitness space. There's very few people who do what they know they should be doing on a weekly basis, unless they have an accountability person there, whether it be a personal trainer, a business coach, whatever it is. And so those things that we know we should do, but they aren't that sexy, they're not that fun, those are really the things that a coach is probably most valuable in helping hold you accountable to. And so every week we look at those numbers to make sure, where am I at? How's my business doing? How much money am I spending on marketing? How much do I have coming back in? Am I losing money? Am I making money, et cetera? Dan Kennedy talks a lot about the fact that if you can spend more than your competitors to win customers, you're going to win for your industry. And so again, if you don't look at your numbers, you don't know how much you're spending on leads, you got no clue what's going on.
In 10 years, we've never talked about Dan Kennedy, but I'll say I love Dan Kennedy because he's a very realistic author. And he's not telling people, how to make $1 million in 7 minutes. He's not trying to teach people that the Google algorithm is dramatically changed. He's not a get rich quick guy. Dan Kennedy's a process guy. And I really love that. And I want to show people this. If anybody goes to Elephant in the Room, eitrlounge.com, and you were to buy an Elephant in the Room franchise, a couple things. It's going to cost you a lot of money. And why? Because you have to build a physical location. You had to build an actual store. We cut hair. So you got to open up a location. You got to open up a shop. You got to do the build outs. You got to do the shampoo rooms, the front entry. And maybe you're out there and you're listening and you're a skilled builder, but every store I've done costs me hundreds of thousands of dollars to build out. And so when I was opening up the Elephant in the Room franchises, I told you, I said, Brett, I remember saying this to you. I said, you don't want to buy an Elephant in the Room. No, you don't, because it's going to cost so much money to do it. Now, the systems we have are great, but I think a tip-top canine would be great for you and your sister. It's the same systems and the processes that we've built for all my companies, but it's I think it's a move because it's under 60 grand to get started. All the systems are there. I'm just showing you, this is what, if you buy an Elephant in the Room franchise, these are all the documents you have, all the processes, and you pretty much knew, okay, if you built tip-top canine processes, they're going to run the same as Elephant in the Room, and they're going to run the same as Cavell. And it's going to be a thing. Can you talk about the importance in your decision to buy a tip-top canine, how important it was knowing that we were using the same systems that we had used to build Elephant in the Room and the other companies that we'd coached you with?
Yeah. And so, we had been looking for a way to expand and to grow outside of our fitness business. I was looking for something my sister could do. And I had come to you multiple times about Elephant in the Room. And every time you just said, hey, why don't you, I don't recommend it, but why don't you come and you visit one and you kind of work through it and figure out if that's something you want to do, figure if that's how much you want to spend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then Tip Top came along and yeah, it made a lot more sense. We had the processes in place, just like we did with Elephant in the Room. And so I knew that I could take that, give it to my sister, and then she would then be successful just by running the systems. And I wouldn't be, so far in the hole like I would with an Elephant in the Room, and we could start it, out of her house and then eventually build a facility, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And again, it was all based on those systems. And that's the only reason, frankly, that we decided to do it. So same thing, we went and we visited Tip Top. We worked through it with them. We worked through with Clay what the systems were going to look like, how it was all going to function. And without the systems, there's no way we would have done it. We were both my sister was jumping from a real estate career to a dog training career. And so without the systems in place, there's no way I would have spent the money on it. And it's not like it's cheaper than an Elephant in the Room, but you're still dropping some change. So
now when you buy a franchise, you got these systems. So box 10, you got to manage, you got to hold people accountable. And I think that's really the value of the coaching system. And that's why when somebody goes to tiptopcanine.com and requests a franchise, I feel like they're going to have success. I feel comfortable selling it. I feel comfortable talking about it because I know that if you buy a Tip Top Canine franchise, you won't throw a gutter ball because someone's going to hold you accountable to doing the tasks on a weekly basis. And I think if you're not careful, Brett, and you've seen this in the fitness space, and we've talked about this, if you're not careful focusing on the things that grow your company, you get distracted on things that don't matter. And in the fitness space, particularly, there's always a new way to track Google leads. There's a new way to optimize the website. The algorithms have changed. There's a new hiring process. ZipRecruiter has found a way to find the best employees. If you're not careful, Brett, there's a fad of the week, a fad of the year, a fad of the month. I'd love to get your thoughts on that of what would a franchise look like, a Tip Top Canine franchise look like in your mind if you didn't have that weekly accountability to hold someone accountable to following the systems?
Well, the problem with most business owners, as you know, Clay, is the shiny object syndrome. And I had it probably worse than anything. I'm still recovering from it. But I think that's one of the things that you had taught me is, with the weekly meetings, it keeps us on path and it keeps us focused on the things we need to be focused on. Because there's all kinds of other BS that you could focus on that don't really grow your business. And marketers are good and the sales reps are good and they all sound great. But at the end of the day, it's the simple things that you do over and over again, the boring things that you do over and over again. But if you don't, it's like, again, I'll go back to personal training because it's similar. If you don't work out, if you don't have a personal trainer to hold you accountable to work out, you're not going to get results. If you don't eat the right foods with a personal trainer holding you accountable, you're not going to get results. And so it's the same with coaching. It's the same in Tip Top. It's the same in Cavell. It's the same in Sawtooth. Without the coach helping you, the systems don't mean anything if you don't implement them. And so without the coach making sure that you're implementing those systems, it doesn't work.
Now, I'm going to pull this up here as we kind of wrap up this particular session here, Brett, is you want to create a sustainable and repetitive weekly schedule. I mean, in the fitness business, if you grab a new client that goes to cavellfit.com to sign up for training, and you were like, imagine, I know you don't do this, but imagine you did. And by the way, Tip Top Canine, it's $1 for the first lesson. Cavell Fit, it's $1 to start the body transformation program. A lot of analogous systems that if you go to Elephant in the Room, it's $1. You see a lot of these systems. Brett, imagine you told somebody, okay, no, Sarah, we're going to work out every third Monday at 7 a.m. Now, every second Tuesday at 8 p.m. and every fourth Thursday at 7 a.m. And there's only 17 things I want you to remember. There's 17 things to remember. And remember, and every week the schedule changed, and every week the workout changed, and every week the diet plan changed. What would happen to your fitness clients? Because you've produced so many successful before and after clients at Cavell. What would happen if you changed the workout time on somebody every week, changed the fitness program every week, and then brought in a new guest speaker to pontificate about their theories about what could be a successful fitness regimen? What would happen?
Well, frankly, I think that's what most people try to do until they determine that doesn't work. And then they go find a coach and stick with that one coach. We always tell our people, like, hey, you got to find a plan. If it's our plan, great. We think our plan is the best. But if it's not our plan, then great. But whatever you do, find a plan. Stick with that plan. What is it always you say, Clay? Focus. What is focus again?
Focus on core tasks until success.
That's it. And so it's the same thing. Find one plan, one nutrition plan, one workout plan, and work on it until you've come to the end of that plan. You've achieved some results there, and you can't get anything more out of that plan. Which most plans in fitness and in business, they work forever, and your business just keeps getting better and better and better, or your body keeps getting better and better and better.
Now, Brett, a final question I want to ask you this, because fitness, in my opinion, is very similar. Fitness coaching is very similar to business coaching. One of my great clients, I won't mention his name because I don't have permission to do so, but he tells his clients, listen, if you sign up for my fitness program, my one-on-one training program, you can eat meat, you can eat vegetables, and only drink water. And if you do that and follow my program, you'll have success. But if you don't do that, now this is kind of a boutique business. He says, if you don't do that, and he wants you to track your meals. If you don't do that, I'm going to charge you double for your personal training, and it's going to be in the contract. So you're going to only eat meat, only have vegetables, only have water. He says, Clay, my clients, they have dramatic results. And he says, but the thing is, they get a little frustrated with me that I'm not open to new ideas. And they almost want me to they bring in magazines and they go, hey, here's a new magazine I just read. This is a new way to help people improve their metabolism. This is a new approach. And he says, even though they're getting results, they always want a new approach. Do you see that in fitness where clients, even though they're getting results, they want a new approach? Do you see that?
Yeah, always. It's a boredom factor. And it's, again, results aren't sexy. The things that you need to do to get results aren't sexy. It's just a matter of doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and making sure that those are the right things. But yeah, almost invariably, at some point they're going to get bored and want to try something else.
3 rapid fire questions. If people want to buy copious amounts of logs from you, what's the website they need to go to buy copious amounts of logs from you, sir?
Yeah, it's Sawtooth Wood Products, like a saw that you saw trees with, sawtoothwoodproducts.com. That's okay. Our fencing and tree and log business.
For anybody out there who's thinking about buying a franchise, what do you think the importance is of having weekly coaching, I guess specifically under the Tip Top Canine mindset, because you own a Tip Top Canine? What's the importance of coaching, sir, weekly coaching?
Yeah, I don't think, in my opinion, anybody who wants to perform at a high level in whatever it is you want to perform at, you need a coach. And it's not always that the coach is smarter than you. Sometimes they are, sometimes they have systems and stuff, but really it's accountability. Are you showing up on a weekly, monthly, whatever it is that the arrangement is? Without it, you're not going to perform at your best in business and fitness and sports, whatever it is.
And then what are your thoughts on Andrew? 'Cause I've worked with you personally for 10 years. How would you describe Andrew's consulting or coaching? Because I've worked with you personally, and we only take on 160 clients. So, Andrew works with your sister and with the Tip Top Canine brand. How would you describe your experience working with Andrew?
Andrew is a very positive guy. I've never seen the guy in a bad mood, frankly. But again, he focuses on the basics, and he focuses on the basics in a way that can be annoying and irritating to the point of like, all right, I get it. I just need to do the basics. But he knows the system like the back of his hand. He knows what works. He knows what people should be doing. And so, I've had no complaints with Andrew. I think he's been a great coach.
Brett Denton, I really do appreciate you carving out time to be here with us today. That wasn't a wood-related pun, but I also encourage people to check out your Sawtooth Wood products. And what service area do you provide logs to, sir? What are the service areas?
Yeah, so at the moment, maybe we can scale at some point, but we're new in the industry here. So we're mainly in the Sun Valley area. We could ship logs everywhere, but we're mainly in Sun Valley area, Idaho, ski resort town situation.
Brett Denton, thank you for carving out time. Have a great day, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us.
This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right?
So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
Thrive Nation, years ago, I had a young lady in my office by the name of Kat. And Kat was a graphic designer, and I was working with a client that was training dogs. So if you could picture this, folks, I'm working with a company that's training dogs, and I have an employee by the name of Kat. And Kat asked me, she said, Clay, with this Tip Top Canine business that you're helping to grow and franchise, I'm seeing the growth. I might be interested in opening a Tip Top Canine franchise. And that's kind of how that conversation went, is how I can remember. But I wanted to interview the man married to the cat, Adam Stockdahl. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Oh, doing great, Clay. Always good to talk to you.
Hey, so can you kind of tell the story of how you first heard about a Tip Top Canine franchise opportunity?
Yeah, that was about 5-6 years ago. My wife, Kat, talked me into getting a cute little puppy, and that cute little puppy decided to use me as a chew toy. So at the same time, she was working on some marketing materials for Tip Top Canine, the original location in Tulsa. And it wasn't too long after that we hired them to train our own dog. And when Ryan was over, I was very impressed with the services, the company in general. And I actually said to him, and he can verify this, at the consultation, I said, I think I'm in the wrong business. So 6-7 months later, when I heard through you that they were looking to expand through the franchise model, it wasn't too hard of a decision for me to say, sign me up.
Now, you own the Tip Top Canine franchise. What are the territories that you own at this point? The cities or the territories that you guys have rights to?
Yeah, so we have 4 main service areas, all within the Dallas-Fort Worth area. First one that we opened up about 5 years ago was the South Lake location, South Lake, Texas. Just for you out-of-towners, that is between Dallas and Fort Worth. So you got Fort Worth on the west, you got Dallas on the east. So South Lake is to the north, even though it says south, north of Dallas and Fort Worth in the middle.
And before becoming a Tip Top Canine franchise owner, you were in the mortgage business. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so my understanding is after, I know you guys asked me a lot of questions about it. I know your wife asked me a lot of questions about it. You guys met with Ryan and Rachel and you decided to move forward. Could you kind of explain what those 6 weeks of hands-on training was like? Because for somebody out there listening right now that's maybe thinking about buying a Tip Top Canine franchise, and they should know, what that experience was like. What were those first 6 weeks of hands-on dog training like?
Yeah, Clay. So Tip Top Canine has a training service that they call Doggy Boot Camp, where they take your dog and train them intensively for several weeks. And then they come back different and better dog. I'd say it's the exact same way, the same process the franchisees go through. It's definitely a boot camp. It is morning to night. It is 6 days a week for about 6 weeks. But by the end of that, you're going to be very comfortable with the training process, and you're going to feel like you are well equipped to go out and start training dogs on your own.
So you did this, and Rachel and Ryan, I mean, I feel like they do a great job training people on how to train dogs, and Ryan does a really good job teaching the sales aspect of it, and you do a great job because you come from a sales background. So you're down there in Texas now, and for somebody out there that's thinking about owning a Tip Top, once you know how to train a dog, and you've paid all the money up front to auto wrap your car and to go to the 6 weeks of training, now you're down in Texas, you're running the business. And I really wanted to identify what you believe to be the maybe the 3 or 4 biggest drivers of the growth, because my understanding, I could be wrong, but I think your official title this year is you were the franchise of the year, both this year and last year. Is that accurate?
Out of the years they've been doing the franchise of the year award, we won half of them.
Okay.
So we got this past year, then the year before that.
Okay. So you were this year's franchise of the year. What do you believe to be like the 4 things that you have to do on a weekly basis beyond training dogs that allows your location to not only survive, but to thrive?
Yeah. So number one, it just the most important underlying theme in all this is going to be consistency. So the thing that I really loved about the Tip Top Canine model is that you do not have to arrange your own calendar. We have a scheduling center that's going to call and book leads for you and set up your schedule every day. And really half the battle, especially when you're starting out, is just showing up. The dog training world is not on average a super sophisticated crowd. So if you just show up to your appointment, you're already in the top 20% of the dog training world. So showing up, being consistent, being on time, being where you say you're going to be, when you say you're going to be there. That would be the first thing. Second of all is being able to effectively train people. It's one thing, it's a very physically challenging business. You're only going to be able to do so much on your own. You're going to have to hire people. And the faster you train those people, the faster you're going to be able to grow. So 1, be consistent, lead by example, do what you say you're going to do. 2 is train people. 3 is assisting the office with lead generation. There's a lot being taken care of on the back end. We're doing a lot. Clay's team is doing a lot of search engine optimization. The team is booking incoming calls. How you're going to help with that is by going around to places that can refer you dog training, and just once again being consistent with those relationships. So that looks like veterinarians, for example. You're going into veterinarians' offices, you're saying hi, you're doing that for a couple weeks in a row. Then you're asking to sit down with the vet, talk to them about the training, and then you're going to start getting referrals. In just the past week in one of our locations, we got 4 vet referrals. And that's just in one of our 4 locations. So that's a big driver of business. And then, just putting in the time. When you're starting out, it is a pretty grueling schedule. It's 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And if you don't have somebody to help you work in those hours, then those are the hours you're working. So it's by no means easy money, but if you do it right and you approach it with the right mindset, it can be very good money.
Now, what would happen if you stopped doing the group interview every week? And on part 2 of today's show, we're going to talk about the group interview process. What would happen if you stopped doing the weekly group interview?
Yeah, so if we stopped doing the weekly group interview, we would be totally fine for about 2 months. And then we would start having natural turnover. Maybe somebody was good, maybe they're not good anymore. And then if you don't have somebody to replace them, then now you are having to do their job. And if you're doing their job, nobody's doing your job, which is training people. So you're going to find yourself trying to do 2 jobs, and then somebody else is going to drop if you're doing 3 jobs. And you're just not going to be able to find good people to come in. If you're not doing the group interview, you're going to hire somebody out of desperation. It's going to be the wrong person, and you're just going to exacerbate that turnover problem.
Now, what if you stopped getting Google reviews from your happy customers? I mean, you guys are very consistent at gathering objective reviews from happy customers. What would happen if you stopped getting Google reviews?
Yeah, so there's a very specific type of person that's going to leave a Google review without asking. And those typically are not the people you want leaving Google reviews. So that is what you're going to get by default. So that is gravity. That is pulling you down. Okay. What you need are the rocket boosters of intentionally gathering reviews from your real and happy customers in order to launch you into orbit.
Now, the next is video reviews. You guys do a great job gathering video reviews from your happy customers. And what I've heard from many of the franchisees, because I talk to many of you every week, is that potential buyers will come to you already convinced that Tip Top Canine is the right choice if they've read enough reviews and watched the video reviews. What impact does video reviews play in the business itself?
Yeah, so video reviews just puts a face to the name. We have hundreds and hundreds. I think between our locations, we have over 1,000 5-star Google reviews. And I still get people at a consultation be like, yeah, but do you have any references, right? It's one thing to see a name with a review next to it. It's another name to see the face of somebody talking at you. So the video reviews, it gives you more of that personal feel as somebody's story. You get to see that they're a real person with a real dog that's really trained.
Now, the Dream 100, again, this is where you make a list of your ideal and likely referral sources, dog groomers, veterinarians. What would happen if you never visited the Dream 100 list by default? What would happen?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of people that are going to find you online on Google. If you get all your reviews and you have good search engine optimization, you're going to dominate the search results. There is a significant portion of your market that just isn't relying on Google for this type of thing. So people really love their dogs. It's a very emotional topic. So with emotional topics, people are talking to their friends, other people they trust. Veterinarians are a big source of trust. So if you are not getting those veterinarian groomer referrals, you're not aligning yourself with these authorities in the space, then those people are just never going to hear about you because it doesn't even occur to them to go online and search about this because they're going to ask their vet who to go through.
Now, both you and I are very efficient individuals. So we typically, when we hop on a weekly coaching call, I mean, if it needs to be longer, it's longer, but it's usually like a touch point, like a 10-minute, like let's make sure things are not drifting. How important is it to have somebody like Andrew who's following up every week just to make sure that, videos get uploaded, that the ads are running? How important is that weekly call to keep things running?
Yeah, I mean, there's really no substitute for it. I mean, you check on things you care about, right? And I care about the business. So that's just our time to really make sure we're being accountable for our portion of things. Accountability is a huge part of this because it's easy to just get busy and let these things drift over time.
Now, I have worked in the franchise space quite a bit outside of Tip Top Canine. I've worked with brands like OxyFresh or EXP Realty. I've worked with UPS franchises. I've worked with just a lot of them. And what I find is a lot of times there are certain franchise programs that have like a quarterly coaching call. So like you basically talk to your coach once a quarter or once a month. Why do you believe it's an important thing for the culture to have kind of a weekly touch point as opposed to a quarterly or monthly touch point?
Yeah, so I am involved in several businesses, and every business I'm involved in, there is a weekly call, because I would not be involved in a business that did not have a weekly touch point. Especially during the startup phase, it's vital, because if you're doing something wrong, you're going to be able to catch it early and correct it.
You know,
Right. So go ahead.
Yeah, you seriously do be like, if it's weekly, you can catch it early and correct. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Because if you're going off course, it's better to go off course a little bit than a lot.
Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up is I knew your wife very well because she worked in the office, and she knew me because she worked on my payroll. So we had that a friendship there, and also that camaraderie. You were kind of the wild card. I didn't quite know about you, but your wife was like, no, he's a great guy. And so, but when you're looking into, when we're in my case, I'm looking into selling a franchise to you. I don't want to sell a franchise to somebody that won't put in the work. And on your case, as a buyer, you don't want to buy a franchise system that won't work, So what were some of the decision points that you went through to decide whether buying a Tip Top Canine was right for you?
One thing I definitely wanted, really one of the huge driving factors of the decision for me was the scheduling center at Tip Top Canine. So with me coming from a mortgage industry, I was the front line. Somebody had questions, somebody needed to talk to somebody. That was me they were talking to. And it made it difficult to focus on my work because I was just fielding calls all day. With Tip Top Canine, you do have a scheduling center there for you. They're talking to customers, they're collecting payments, they're doing a lot of the day-to-day administrative stuff that would really just take hours out of your day and bog you down. So the fact that we had that at our disposal, already included in the franchise fee, was just absolutely massive.
So, and just kind of recap, and I want to make sure the listeners out there get this if they're thinking about buying a Tip Top Canine. The key drivers to success is, one, you're saying you wouldn't be involved in an organization if it didn't have a weekly call for accountability. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Second is you really, the call center was a big appeal for you. Is that correct? I mean, we wanted to have a call center that handles a lot of that admin.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
3, you got the group interview. 4, you got the Google reviews. 5, you got the video reviews. 6, you got that Dream 100 marketing. And then 7, our team runs the online ads for you to make sure that they're never off and to make sure the retargeting ads are happening. And we're also writing search engine content for you behind the scenes. How valuable is it to do that as opposed to you having to write search engine content every day?
Oh, it would be impossible. It wouldn't get done. I can just tell you, like, there's no world in which myself or really any other franchisee trying to run this kind of business would be able to do that.
And then Andrew is not here, so we can say something nice about him, and we'll see if he watches this show. We'll find out. But Andrew has been on my team for years. I know he loves serving you guys, but how would you describe what it's like to have a person like a point person like Andrew to kind of help you with the account if there's a burning fire?
Yeah, so it's really nice to know that you have somebody that's on your team and is knowledgeable enough. He's seen it before, right? So if you come on, you buy a Tip Top Canine franchise, you're not the first one. The problems, any issues you run into, you're not going to be the first one having these issues. Andrew's seen it before, and he's been able to help other locations through it before. So just having that experience on your side is huge. It just gives you a little bit of peace of mind.
Now, we do have a lot of listeners that are in the Texas area. So, again, what are the cities you cover? If anybody out there is listening has a dog they want to have you guys train?
Yeah, for sure. Pretty much anywhere on the north side of Dallas-Fort Worth. So we've got all of Fort Worth. We've got South Lake, which is kind of between Dallas and Fort Worth. Then we got McKinney and Frisco, which are the north side of Dallas.
Adam, I really do appreciate you. You've been a great friend, and it's wonderful to see you and your wife thriving. Congratulations again on winning the franchise of the year again, and I appreciate your diligence. It's fun to work with you, sir. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Clay. I'll see you.
Take care. Bye. Wow.
Okay, see?
And
See
the
what
good
happened?
and the good
Okay.
folks at Tip Top Canine kind of helped mentor you into your dog training skill set. Am I correct? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. No, I had all the full training
Wow.
with Rhodey, and he would have eaten you, Clay, if you were here in person. He would have
Wow.
just ripped an arm off. You got to be careful.
Okay, now we're going to move into the heavier stuff here. Now that we've covered that,
Okay.
I suppose I want to make sure from an animal
boy, Rhodey.
cruelty perspective, you weren't using a part of a dog as a windscreen. One thing, it's super self-serving because I have partnered with the brand and have worked with the brand for a long time. Mike, I just wanted to ask you here. Feel free to punt if you want, but the good folks at Tip Top Canine, why I like them is they're providing opportunities for people that don't want to take the jab. So if you have a job, but you don't want to take the jab, I think that's going to be an increasingly difficult thing to find. And so if you're looking for a career that doesn't require the taking of the COVID-19 shots, the good folks at Tip Top Canine, they have a 6-week training program where in 6 weeks, you can learn how to open your own Tip Top Canine franchise. There's approaching 20 locations all over the country. Mike, you've worked with the Tip Top folks. Has your dog eaten you yet? Are you happy with the service? How's it been going so far?
Tip Top Canine is just amazing. I mean, really interacting with those folks and getting this dog changed my life. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. And I just want to put this offer out there to anybody listening who wants to consider opening a Tip Top Canine franchise. Once you open a franchise, I will announce it for free. I'll publicize it on my podcast because what I learned from these guys, it's so life-changing. Even I'm training my other dogs, Clay. Now that I learned, let me back up. So Tip Top Canine people trained me, first of all, on how to train dogs, including this military dog I have here. And then I took that knowledge and now I'm training my other dogs who I thought were uncontrollable. And now guess what? They come when I call them. It's amazing using the training techniques. Even a guy like me, who's not a professional dog trainer, even I'm competent at training my own dogs now, but this is a great opportunity. In any city in America, that's available for the franchises, people want to bring their dogs and have them trained because more people are working at home. More lockdowns are probably coming, God forbid, but people need to be able to get along with their pets. And Tip Top Canine really is effective at making that happen. That's just my testimonial right there. Feel free to use it.
Mike Adams, thank you so much for carving out time. I really do appreciate you very much. Your studio is looking great there, sir. I know it's been a long time coming. You've been one of the first truth-telling voices in the movement, one of the most heavily censored people in America. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for investing in lighting and sound that makes you look better.
Well, see, we're giving you our wide shot here right now. This is the wide shot of the studio. Yeah,
you look great.
Just to show you, it's real. It's not a green screen. No, we actually built it. So
it looks great, Mike.
It's coming along. It's coming along. And yours has always looked awesome, but we finally upgraded to Clay's level of studio.
Mike, seriously, I say this: any of the events that you've ever wanted, if we ever do a Reawaken America tour, the door's always open for you. I appreciate all the work you do behind the scenes, keeping people focused on exposing the truth. You really are a leader in the truth movement. I appreciate that, sir. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Well, thank you, Clay. We're working at it. And again, keep me posted. If anybody joins the Tip Top Canine franchise, we want to announce it and help get all these dogs under control all across America so they don't, eat our microphones and things like that.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.
Right. Thank you, Clay. Bye. All right. Bye.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us, make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person. So
the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 25, 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income, but is really rewarding.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building it into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns, because our clubs were all closed for 3 months, and you have $350,000 of bills you've got to pay, and we have no accounts receivable. He helped us navigate that, and of course we were conservative enough that we could afford to take that on for a period of time. But it was anyways, great man. I'm very impressed with him. So Clay, thank you for everything you're doing, and I encourage you, if you haven't ever worked with Clay, work with Clay. He's going to help magnify you, and there's nobody I have ever met that has the ability to work as hard as he does. He probably sleeps 4, maybe 6 hours a day, and literally the rest of the time he's working, and he can outwork everybody in the room. every single day, and he loves it. So anyways, this is Charles Kola with Kola Fitness. Thank you, Clay. And anybody out there that's wanting to work with Clay, it's a great opportunity to ever work with him. So you guys have a blessed one. This is Charles Kola. We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due, and Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.